See, I don't want to be the kind of person that just does one skill. You know what I'm saying? The person on the assembly line that has the hammer and that's all they do. That's their job, to just keep hitting that one piece of whatever it is, and then it gets passed down to somebody else, and that person, puts in the staples. And what am I making?
Be honest with me, honest with me, honest with me. Did I really give it all I had? Be honest with me, honest with me, honest with me.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me again. And thank you to all the new subscribers who subscribe to my channel, rang the bell. I appreciate you. Today, I wanted to talk about something that means a lot to me. How I was able to combine all of my interests into one project. Now, if you're anything like me, you may have been called a jack of all trades. You have all these different interests or skills or gifts, but you don't necessarily know which one to focus on or how to use them all. You also don't want to be kind of pigeonholed into one skill, right? You like the fact that you have all these different interests, but what do you do to kind of pull them together? Well, I'll tell you how I did it. In 2017, I was able to work on my debut album, Wonder Years. For this album, I was able to combine everything I love into one project. Photography, videography, music production, rapping, spoken word, leadership, everything that makes me who I am. I was able to focus all of that on one thing. And let me tell you, when you find a way to do that, it just lets you come alive because you don't feel like you're wasting anything. Everything feels purposeful. All of those skills were necessary in creating this project. Wonder Years had a 80s theme. It was based on my youth growing up. We took analog photography to match the theme. We had to make music videos to match the theme. Of course, my music had to match the theme. And it was just amazing being able to use all of those gifts. Now, one thing I will say, even if you find a way to combine all those things, there are still things I did not know how to do. And you have to know what you're not good at and get people around you that are good at those things. And or you may be kind of good at a thing, but you can't do all of it at all times, right? I was able to put an awesome team around me that helped me film, that helped me take pictures, that helped guide the process, which I am not good at the details of the process and make it all make sense. I was able to find people to help me with that. So you have to be able to inspire other people or pay other people or both to get behind your vision so they can do the things that you're not good at, right? So that allows you to do what you love and get everything else done that you don't love or aren't good at quite yet, all right? So the people I use, the people that spearheaded this process for me, that helped me make it all make sense, were Chris and Maya Dawson of Creative Air. So I brought them on to talk about the process of Wonder Years and some of their memories of how it all came together.
Oh, wow. Good times, man. Good times. That was like, first of all, just thank you for letting us experiment. Because I knew you had this dope project. And Sean, you always hold stuff so close. I know you had been working on a thing for 3 years before we even had a glimpse into what you were doing. And when we finally got a glimpse, it was like, oh my God, this is dope. We have to put some buzz around this, So that's kind of how the whole conversation started. And I had just gotten my PMP at the time, so I was really interested in applying the whole project management exercises, some of those practices to what I love, which is the creative process. So you let us experiment on you. I'm grateful.
I just remember you coming towards the end and was like, yo, we're about to put this, we're about to drop it. And we was like, well, hold on. Let's come up with some plans and do that. And luckily you was like, all right, let's try it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you could have just been like, nah, I'm good. We could do it out of somebody else's project. But you was you was the guinea pig because I dropped something, FMG dropped something, other people in the group kind of did something, but you were the first one that actually we came together as a group and say, okay, this is the plan. This is what we're going to do. This is the demo. This is that. This is what we're going to do. We're going to do a book. We're going to do a video. We're going to do all this other stuff. And I think what we saw in that was a rollout for us as a group, but then also for us as Creative Air, okay, there's a possibility that we could do this for other people. And and honestly, you were the first one out of all of us, and I'm talking all of us at FMG, Freedom Music Group, that we had charted. A rollout is very important, and I think we learned that with Wonder Years.
So what are some of the tools you guys use to craft an artist rollout?
First off, time. And I emphasize time because we live in a microwave society, and I get it, social media and just, the music industry itself has evolved and shifted, but that still means you need to push your music, even if it's, instead of waiting until you put out an actual album, as you put out singles, don't just drop a single. Let people know it's coming. Let people know it's there. So I say time, because a lot of people just want to put their stuff out there and then just hope that people magically find it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it works that way. Most of the time it does not. So I say time. I emphasize time. And you were gracious enough to at least give us 3 months before your actual album dropped. And yeah, there were singles that had been released and things of that nature, but we used that time strategically to get eyes on you. So people felt the anticipation, they felt the momentum, they felt something was building. And so that by the time your album dropped, you had pre-orders, you had, which is why you were able to chart. People knew that your music was coming and they were excited about your music coming, and then we also use tools to help identify who your demographic is. We use something like a whiteboard session to help determine that and figure out, okay, who was your music created for primarily? It doesn't mean that it's not going to impact the masses as it should, but it means if you focus on your target, then you'll catch other people naturally around that as well. But you have to have a target in mind. And that helped us guide what platforms you were going to be marketing on the most. It helped us guide what types of challenges you were going to do. It helped us guide even just, the overall look and feel of your project and of your rollout, because there was a certain person that we had in mind while we were doing all of that.
Yeah. And what are some of your favorite memories from the rollout of Wonder Years?
I'll say when we was at Little 5 Points. If people don't know what Little 5 Points is, it's like the artsy, earthy side of Atlanta. It's hood. But it's also like earthy and like for anybody who I guess the best way to describe it in the hip hop field would be like J. Cole's record label. And I say that because he have people on there like Ari Lennox. He has people on there like Earth Gang, like those type of people would hang out in Little 5 Points. And what we did was we took the pictures around the city, but then we went to Little 5 Points and we got a lot of pictures around that area for his photo book, for Sean's photo book. And then also I think another one was Natalie Lauren, aka, well, now y'all know Natalie Lauren, but she had a studio and we did like an album listening to party for like media people and people that we felt like that could help us get the album out even more. And we had it at her former studio, which was nice. It was dope. Like a dope glass studio that you walked in, and it was like a nice board there and like it was a nice, it was dope. So I would say I remember those times too, man. Like just those two things, remember, those stood out to me. What about you, Ma?
Yeah, I would say, and then honestly too, what stuck out to me was, you had like an army, like there were people that just crowded around. That was when we, really got to work closely with Aaron Knight. We pulled in, Trey Dennis. We just had a lot of different artsy people that brought so much to the process, and they, were willing to lend their resources, like as you mentioned, Natalie Lauren, Mouthpiece came to the studio and was, supporting, and he's on your album, of course. Like there were just a lot of people that really came around to really support your project. So that's what stuck out to me. And I mean, we came together, weekly, bi-weekly, and really just kind of talked through things and mapping out. I remember the wall, the infamous wall in the studio, where we literally took those 3 months and we mapped out like everything after we decided your target, after we had brainstormed ideas on how to reach your target. We took all those different ideas and the ones that kind of rose to the surface and said, okay, if we're going to do this, like if we're going to do a photo album, like a digital photo album to kind of, go with the project. How long is that going to take? When would we need to start it? When would we need to be finished by? If we're going to do a listening session, when do we have to have the place booked by, and how far in advance do we want to have that done? So we literally had all of that laid out over that 3-month span. So you saw where things overlapped, and we made sure that they were strategically overlapping so that one would lead to the other. And although things were popping up on different people's radars at different times, we had been working on that stuff behind the scenes for weeks, and in some cases months prior, because we knew when we wanted it to drop, and we knew we wanted it to make sense when it dropped. We knew when we wanted the challenge to happen. We knew when we wanted the winner for the challenge to be announced and what single for it to align with all of that. There's a strategy behind that. And I think oftentimes people just want to put stuff out there and hope for the best, when you really want to do everything you can to put your best foot forward. This is your baby. You have, worked on this thing, you've labored on this thing, and you don't want it to fall on deaf ears. You want people to know that it's there, and you want people to be just as excited about it as you are.
The great thing about it as an artist is I know how to, see the vision of what I want, and like I see the end. I just don't know how to get there. And you guys were instrumental in helping us figure out how to get to the vision, and I obviously our record label experience also helped with that too. We worked on a record label for a long time, and just seeing that process of how Trayvon he kind of crafted those albums and those rollouts really gave us kind of like an experience of how to pull this off on our own.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that was in the 2000s. Like we didn't know, we learned that in the 2000s because like we didn't know that was happening. Like we like for the person that just enjoyed music, you didn't know about a rollout. You didn't know about, this is what we're going to do. This is the plans. This is what I'm saying? You hear about those things now because of social media and because people talk about it, because people do behind the scenes stuff and they bring you into those meetings now. But back then when we were part of a record label from our church, and, just thinking about Maya was on a recording artist team. Well, both of y'all was.
Yeah, I was gonna say me and Sean.
Yeah, but like when we did with Driven, which was Destiny's Praise, which Maya was on, we did an entire rollout to it, to a point where we had something I remember from there. They had a pamphlet that looked like a car pamphlet, so you could look through a booklet, and then when you open it up, it's about the group, and it was dope. It was a dope rollout, and just using the word driven, and you came up with so many ideas for it and everything like that, and it was just one of those things where that was a learning experience. We took so much information from that time period.
So again, I loved it, man. It was a great experience. How can people hire you to help them with their albums?
You can visit our website, creativeair.com, and that is CreativeAire. So that's Creative Air, like millionaire. We make it rain creatively. That's what we do. And we provide a wealth of creativity, and generate an atmosphere like the air you breathe. So whatever way you want to think of it, Creative Air, that's who we are. You can find us on social media as well. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Creative Air Inc. So that's INC at the end of it. And we're also on Facebook. So check us out, follow us. We're, preparing to launch a podcast. So hopefully you'll, be able to get some insight as to what we do and how we do it there as well. It's called A&R, which stands for Arts and Review. But you'll also get some A&R while you're getting A&R, if that makes sense. We'll give you our A&R perspective as well. So check us out, but definitely follow us so you can keep up with where we are and what we're doing.
Hopefully that helped you guys. Again, if you need their help, They're awesome. They help artists craft projects and think about their rollouts and all of that. So please contact them if you need any help with any of this. And just sit down, find a way, write all your skills down, and see if there's a way to combine those. Not necessarily into a career. It may be hard to fit all those passions into something you do all the time, but focus on one project and try to achieve one project, and it may give you ideas on what you can do in the future. Now, there's another way I was able to combine all my interests into one project. This channel. This allows me to talk about photography, leadership, business, videography, everything that I love all in one place. So another example for you. So if you like what I do, if you get any benefit out of it at all, please like, subscribe, ring the bell, share it with your friends, share it with people who may need the content. And I love you guys. Next time.